All right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Asian session. I'm your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we are definitely happy and grateful for each and every one of you being here with us this evening as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of in the Forex market. So without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper for notes. Let's make sure that we do an amazing job of participating and engaging just like yesterday. So with that being said, if you can hear me loud and clear, drop me a 1 in the chat and we can get this session going. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. So let me make sure that everybody has control of their microphone. As always, we just ask, hey, if you're not making a comment or asking a question, let's make sure that we do our best to keep those microphones on mute, and you all do an amazing job of that. So let's jump right in, and we know what's going on. First Friday of every month, we have non-farm payroll tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to look at the non-farm employment change, unemployment rate, average hourly earnings, and then we have one of those months where we have the United States reporting out at the same time as Canada. They are reporting their employment change and unemployment rate. So all eyes are on the news and the data coming out at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. So we'll see, right? We need some volatility on some pairs. Some pairs are choppy, moving sideways. As we always say, we need a fundamental catalyst. So we look forward to seeing what happens tomorrow. Just continue to be patient, right? We let the trades come to us. We don't chase the trade. So let's go ahead and get going. Give me 1 second, everybody. All right, sorry about that. So that's the big thing for tomorrow. Of course, we have ECB President Lagarde speaking tomorrow as well. So we'll see if anything comes out of that. If we get any kind of any kind of forward guidance regarding what they're looking at moving in July. We know that the ECB is talking about 25 basis points this month for the euro. But I was reading an interesting article earlier today, and there were people, other members that were really pushing for a more aggressive hike. So it's going to be interesting moving forward. So we'll look at the notes and see what she says when she speaks tomorrow. Oftentimes, guys, if you look it up on YouTube, you can actually catch those events live, right? When they're speaking, you just have to type it into YouTube, and a lot of times somebody's carrying the stream. So just a little tip there. I do have some interesting articles that I'll put in the chat for tomorrow, just a couple ahead of the numbers coming out tomorrow, so you could take a look at these and read them. Make sure I get this posted to everybody. Okay. All right, so that's that. So before we get going, people that were on last night, drop me a 2 in the chat if it was helpful for anybody, just to kind of walk things back, on the pair. I know we got caught on one pair, but if it was kind of helpful to you, let us know. We like that feedback because it kind of gives us some forward guidance on what we may need to do from time to time moving forward in the future. I know sometimes we can get hot and heavy and blazing through pairs, but sometimes it's good just to kind of dial things back a little bit. So, and as we move forward, as always, just make sure that if you have questions, don't think that it's annoying or you're getting in our way, if you say pause, slow down a little bit, hey, what about this, what about that? There are no silly questions in this group. That's what the inner circle is all about. So either put it in the chat, take your microphone off mute, let us know. This is it's an open forum. All right, so that's that. So let's take a look at this dollar index. Hold on one second. There we go. So I've been having a couple of internet issues today, some slowdown. So if you guys, if my sound gets a little bit off, or if things are moving slow with my screen on your end, just let me know, because I may need to switch some things up. But taking a look at the dollar index ahead of NFP tomorrow, you can see, right, we broke through that level, that key level that it tested again, broke through it and closed bullish, and now we seem to be looking to correct, right? So a lot of folks jockeying for position ahead of NFP tomorrow, but we're not surprised from a technical perspective. We know that price likes to break levels and then pull back to retest. So that's where we are on a DXY. A little relief here towards the close of the day, and then now into the Asian session, you can see it correcting itself a bit. So we'll go through and take a look at how it's affecting the pairs, right, this evening, right? At least it's the evening here in the States, up here in Michigan. So maybe we get that correction all the way back down to this level ahead of non-farm. Hard to predict that, but that's what it's looking like. So any questions on the DXY before we move forward? It's pretty clear cut there, right? We got a break with a possible retest of the zone that it broke. Good. All right. So I'll let you guys go first tonight, because I have a lot that I could cover on pairs, but from the jump tonight, because we didn't get to all the pairs last night. So if you have any pairs that you want to take a look at, that's pressing, that you have questions about, drop them in the chat. And Swiss Yen, okay. Say PY for joy. And odd cat. Okay. All right. So just Swiss. Okay. So let's go take a look at this Swiss Yen to start out. Okay. And if we look at the daily chart, you can see that we've been moving up, and we're coming back, and we've come back to test this 138.84 level. So we're in an up retracement zone, okay? And then we move down to the lower time frames. We caught it to where we said, hey, we have a potential head and shoulders at the time that we drew this, right? So we saw it come down and test this level here at 139.83, and we said, hey, that's a potential right shoulder. Here's that at this what level was this? I can move this out of the way now. So there we go. So at this 141.92 level, this was the high that it broke, okay? All-time high that it broke. And then we said, hey, we've got a left shoulder, potential right shoulder, and that's exactly what happened, right? We created the right shoulder, we started to press down. So what we're looking at is just a continuation, that C to D push. So we want to see price fall, continue to fall. It may take a little bit of time, but we want to see it to fall to that D extension, which is right in line with that 38.2. Okay, so if you scroll down a little bit, back things out, okay, you can see right here is that 38.2. So here's our up. This is our retracement zone. Classic type move. We went beyond that 127, but we ran into daily resistance here. Okay, so that gave us our head right there. and then we continue to push down. So what we're looking for is just a continuation bearish to at least the 382. Okay. Any questions on that Swiss yen pair? You're welcome. Joy, is that what you have?
I am in for sale.
Okay.
I had missed my original entry, but then when I went to go cross check the weekly, I noticed that it looked like it was doing a swing high on the weekly. So I went ahead and put my order in.
Okay. So you're good. You're good. Awesome. Awesome. So that's where we are. Let's see. Let's continue to manage the trade. If you have to drop a trend line, you know, look for price to stay below that trend line. You know, however you want to manage that, reduce the trade, roll your stop down, either with a trailing stop, manual stop. That's where we are now. So good play if you're short on that Swiss yen. So far, that's playing out pretty good. And of course, we got a reaction. Look around at 118, 127 zone, but we just want to see it turn over. All right. So good deal there. Give me 1 second. Let me. Okay. Oh. Let me do this. Okay. There we go. And we are all set. Okay. All right. Miss Casey Jackson, good evening. How are you?
Good evening. I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. Glad you're here.
Glad to be here. Hey, everybody.
You are. Listen, everybody. Casey Jackson is the busiest woman on the planet. When I tell you the work that she does around this city is amazing, right? You all wonder why you don't see her from time to time, because she is moving 1,000 miles per hour. She is the jet. So just want to let you all know that she is constantly working and moving in the background. So, yep. So it's always good when we can have her here. So, all right. So that is the Swiss yen. Let me look at the next pair. We're going to jump into the Aussies and take a look at the Aussie CAD. And we forgot to talk about in the today. So UK Prime Minister, right? So if you guys are watching the charts today, you saw the pound get some strength and start to correct. We always say we need a catalyst, and sometimes we don't know what it's going to be, but we see that the UK Prime Minister, Mr. Johnson, stepped down today, had to resign. All right, so got caught up in too much, funny business, and out he goes. So we saw the market react positively for the pound today. So I don't know. I'm still bearish on the pound, but I don't know what that means going forward. Who knows? But I know it gave us the corrections that I like to see on some of the pairs to where I can get ready to short the pound. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. Too many scandals, right? Too much fun. You got the whole nation locked down during COVID, and you having a party. So amongst other things. But anyway, we'll continue to move on. So here is the Aussie CAD, and you guys can see right here, it's just a wave, right? It's just a wave. Here's our A, here's our B, here's our C, right? And then our D extension is here. We haven't gotten there yet. We came up against daily resistance. All right, so let's back out and go check out the daily real quick. And we can see this reaction here, where this fib here on the daily, we came into it, we hit the D. So that should be a new fib on the daily chart, and it'll eventually do it. But that's the way that should be looking. But that's just extra confluence, right? We got a D extension hit. It extended beyond at 1.618, and then it came into daily support. So that fib, that extension let us know that, hey, where the price is possibly exhausting, right? And we may see a reversal or correction and it just extended and pushed down to support at 87.44. And now we have some reversal action going on the correction. Okay, so we can see it pushing up, and we were talking about before, maybe we're going to get a retest of this 89.15 level, and that's what we were thinking about, and it seems like it's trying to get there. Okay, and I think that may be a pretty strong level if it can push and retest. It's a previous B boundary. You see that it acted as support multiple times, then it came back and acted as resistance. I'm pretty sure if we look left, we'll see the same thing. And now we're coming into this 89.15 level again and see if it can test it as resistance. All right, so what does that look like on the one? That's giving us a real high push up into the zone. And we talked about that a couple of days ago, or when we talked about it, but we knew it was a possibility of it retesting that level and really testing that A boundary potentially. Right. So if I'm trading this off the one, okay, I've got my trend lines drawn at this point. Okay. Especially ahead of tomorrow. Okay. We've got Canada reporting some pretty important numbers, employment data. Okay. And one of the ways that you can look at tomorrow with these employment numbers and data is that if the numbers come through solid, right, and they're making gains and they're positive, then that kind of gives leeway to the Bank of Canada, to the Federal Reserve, that hey, there's room. The economy, they'll think can sustain, right? Us, the Bank of England, the Federal Reserve continue to be aggressive with the rate hikes, okay, to try to calm down inflation. So it's a fine balance. So if you get positive numbers coming out of Canada tomorrow, you could see that Canadian dollar strengthen, and then you'll see this trend line breaking and move back to the downside. Right? Keep in mind that we did have a pretty good rate hike out of Australia, but because of the sentiment at the time, we didn't get the reaction right away. But nonetheless, that doesn't mean that, right? We're seeing Aussie strength now. Okay, the risk appetite is hovering around, what is it today, 17.29. So we're still below that 20 level, and it's come down a bit. We saw tech, I think it was tech. I was reading here a little bit earlier. We did see, right, streak as tech stays strong ahead of the job. So we saw the tech sector rally a bit today. So you know, we've got this correction going on the Aussie CAD, and it's pushed right into our zone now. So now we just wait to see what's going to happen tomorrow, and then we make our move. Okay, so that's your 4-hour look there. Okay, 89.15, and then this is your 1-hour look. Okay, did anybody play the B2C? Anybody trade the B2C move, or was everybody just waiting?
I got in like in the middle, and then
okay.
the news came out with the Aussie, and it like spiked up. So like
Yeah.
I'm kind of in drawdown, so I'm just like waiting for tomorrow.
Okay.
Got my stop above the A, but you know, just waiting.
Gotcha. All right. Well, you know how to play it. You got your risk under control. You got your stop in place. Let it do its thing. Appreciate it. So yep. So we'll see how that goes. So that is the Aussie CAD. That's been a nice correction on that. Right. So from that B boundary, its highest point is almost 150 pips to the upside off that support level. That's good. That's good confluence there. Right. Really good confluence for that to take place. Right. That was a move there. And they shook some folks out. That's nice off the 61.8, and then it just continued to move higher. The market does what it wants to do, doesn't it? Right? But that was a nice move coming off that 61.8 initially. 90 pips. Nice. So that's the Aussie CAD. Any other questions on that?
Nope. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. And let's take a look, yes, at some of these Swiss pairs, right? Because we know we came out of the weekly ritual, and actually before that, talking about these Swiss pairs being at key levels. This is the 1-hour play here, but let's back it up a little bit. and check things out. All right. Look at that off that daily level, everybody, right? Levels matter. Okay. Levels matter. Look at that. All right. So right now we are pushing bullish off that support. So you see this move down to the downside, and then you've got your correction off that support. So if we come down to the daily, I mean to the 4 hour, let me take this out right now just to show everybody the price action. Okay. And you can see how this corrected deep, a very shallow retracement. Right? You had that fight and the bears won and pushed that price down. So you look how it stalled, and then it broke the level. Then it stalled at that 118, 127, which is what we like to see, but it broke the level lower, and then it ran into the right price level. This is where you had your buyer sitting waiting at 65.09, just shy of that D extension. And now look, right? So if you put a trend line on that, that's a clean break to the upside. So what we're thinking now is, can we get that 382 target? Can we at least get that target? Right? So, or higher, right? So we know that if we look for a second target, okay, we got the 61.8 level, okay, and then so on and so forth. Here we got a nice daily resistance level, right at that 8.6 level there. Okay, some long-term stuff, but this has been a pretty clean move, and you can see here, when you get those strong reversals off those levels, look at the move. Okay, look at the move here. Right, look at that pullback. It's beautiful. That's a beautiful reversal, right? So when you do your patterns, you just extend that fib like that, and look at that pullback. Look at that pullback, okay? And then your continuation. So now we're getting to some areas. Look how we broke through that 4 hour, those 4 hour levels, that zone. It's beautiful price action. It's beautiful price action. Good one to study, right? So if we come down to the 1, we can see, right? Look at that trend line break. You see how price came down. Here's that left tip. You see how this level right here, how price broke through this level and closed above. Right? You see how it didn't hold right here and then push down and keep that even neckline. Right? It broke it, then it pulled all the way back. Right? And then it continued. Okay, then it continued. And here I'm just running the smart fibs on the wave so we can see where we are right now on the 1 hour. So we're seeing, hey, we're breaking through this 4 hour. Now what we want to do is, and I'm gonna have to put that back in. I hate when I do that. But now it's, do I get that correction, that pullback? Followed by that move back to the upside. Okay. Here's that target, right? That's that 4 hour target. So this is your 4 hour, 38.2. Okay, right there. So we're looking for that B to C move, okay, which we know that's tradable if you want to trade the counter. Or does it hold around that 4 hour zone? There's 4 hour levels that it broke, like this. Do we get that? Maybe we get that shallow retracement type move. Okay. Around that 118, 127 zone, then that move back, right? So you have to decide. We've got a 4 hour bullish move, right? That's running counter to trend. That's your 4 hour 382 there. Okay. It's a good upside target. Do I want to wait? If I miss this here, do I want to wait for price to pull back and continue? Do I want to try to get short, right, off this level? Maybe you put your stop, okay? It's going over the scenarios, right? Put your stop above the high. See if you can get short to your 382. That's a smaller play. Or do I say, you know what? The only time I want to run a counter trend trade setup is if I get this purple price action here. That shallow retracement up to the 118, 127 zone. Then I'll look to trade it back, right? It kind of gives me a really good reward to risk ratio, right? So if I short it here, back to the 382, I'm looking at 47 pips. But if I wait until it gets up around that zone and short it, now I'm looking at close to 90 pips. Okay, looking at close to 90 pips. So those are the decisions as traders that we have to make. And over time, right? You take 100 trades, you know, and you test yourself. Okay, I want to say 50 to 100 trades, and I only want to trade those B2C moves. I only want to trade these 80-20 moves back to the 382. And then you look at your results. You analyze and you look at your results. You journal. You think about how you felt when you took those trades. Was it high anxiety? If I had some high anxiety, was it because I don't really like the counter trend trade? Was I over leveraged? Was my stop placement too tight? You know, you have to gauge all that. But I'm telling you, if you hang in the game long enough to get it fine-tuned, right? That's how you become consistently profitable. And you become really, really comfortable in your trading. It's just like when you play sports, right? For those of us on here that might have played sports, and when you become really, really good at it and you have it down, and you hear athletes say all the time, like, man, it just became slow motion, right? That's the point you're trying to get to as a trader. Ebony, you have a question?
Yeah. Well, not really a question, but yeah, kind of a question. Because I feel like I know what my trade plan is, but it's like with this one particular, it's like I know where I want to start looking at to potentially get out, but it's also like not keep looking at it and just, okay, this is the trade plan, leave it alone and let it go. So it's that conversation of like, okay, do I just like, so I'm trying to figure that part out. So like you're saying, like just keep doing the plan and letting it flow. Because it is a little nerve-wracking to not touch it, to not like get out too early, and just let it go.
That is an amazing battle, isn't it?
Yes.
It is, because I'm telling you all right now, a lot of you actually know what you're doing. But it's that part right there that you're talking about that's crushing 99% of people.
Yes.
Completely destroying them. Completely destroying. And then it becomes doubly frustrating when you look back and you say, that actually played out.
Right.
It played out. Like, so then you get in that situation where you start yanking and taking that trade off the table, but then you don't do the same thing when it comes to the losing trade though. So now I made 50, but I'm losing 100. You know, because of that. So the best thing that I can tell you, and there's really no exact solution to that than just hardcore discipline and time. But from my experience, the one thing that was really or two things. In the beginning, I didn't understand risk management. And it was tearing my account up, right? And I know some people may be able to relate to that. I just, because I didn't understand how fast like money can compound Because when I started out, I'm like, okay, you got a small account. And it's like, man, if I use the stop loss, I only could trade at 20 and 30 cents. But in my mind, I didn't understand that. Yeah, I'm trading at 20 and 30 cents now, but that becomes 50, 60 cents later. And then once I can consistently trade at one mini lot with these type of setups, watch out. So I didn't understand the risk management because I was too busy trying to become the multi-million-dollar legend, right? And so it just doesn't work like that, right? Because even if you that type of impulsive nature, even if you have and you start out with say a $10,000 account, and if you say to yourself, super conservative rule, 10 cents per thousand, right? 1 micro per thousand. Then when I'm at 10,000, I'm trading at like a buck, right? $1 a pip, 1 million lot per pip. So people don't think about that, right? So,
okay. So I feel like I'm okay with trading small now. Like I've gotten to the point where it's like, okay, I know I'm not going to be a millionaire overnight. So I get that piece. But then the other one is like, okay, now I know what I'm risking, but then it's like, I don't want to give it back either if I'm up already. It's like, okay, I know what I'm going to lose, but it's up. So it's like, but it's not at my target of where I said that I'm gonna, okay, this is where I'm gonna look to get out if it starts to reverse there. So it's like, I know to be patient, but then also it's like, I don't want to feel that greed either. But, and then I hear, okay, well, are you sticking to your trade plan? So it's just, I guess, I don't know.
No. Listen, it is. I mean, I've been in webinars. I've been in, I listen to like a billion podcasts with like the super pro traders. Okay. It is an issue for them too. Still. Right. So leading to my second thing, right? So you got the risk management piece down, trading small. My second thing was I didn't like to lose. Period. I didn't like to lose. I didn't understand that. Hey, that's really part of this game, right? That's why we always say, like, hey, you might as well learn how to become a good loser because you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. I didn't want to do that, and that's what was wrecking me. So what I learned and started doing was, even if I'm trading at 20 cents a pip, 2 micros, right? When that trade progresses, because we know if you're in a move that's going to be 100, 200 pips, it's going to come to a point, unless it's a crazy impulsive move off of a fundamental occurrence, that market's going to hit a point, it's going to form a low, and that's going to pull back. So to help with my psychology, I started taking money off the table. So if I'm up and the market goes, if I'm in at 20 cent a pip and the market goes 100 pips, but my overall move is supposed to last 200, 250 pips, I'm taking that off the table. I'm going in, I'm modifying, I'm closing out the trade, and I'm taking half off. So you know what I got left in the game? 1 micro. And then on that 1 micro, I'm probably going to move my stop to break even, or I'm going to move it into profit. And then I'm just going to let it go. That's what really got me, because psychologically, I was still able to see my account growing. No matter how small it was, it's like, I'm making some gains.
And you're not giving anything back.
No, you're not giving anything back. You're not giving anything back to the market. And hey, if that what's remaining comes back and it hits you at break even, or it stops you out in profit, hey, you live to see another day. Continue to monitor the trade to see if there's another opportunity for you to get back in at some point, right? And that's just how, those are the things that I've had to learn. And it took me a long time to get that, to understand that. But that's what really helped me get over the top on that, because I'm telling you, that plagued me for a very, very long time, was not wanting to lose. And in the beginning, I got over, I'm just like you, I got over the whole being over leveraged part. But then that was the next thing. I didn't want to lose, and that allowed me to completely close a trade out completely prematurely. And over time, that catches up to you. Because if you're in you're welcome. Because if you're in a 2-to-1, 3-to-1, you may have your reward to risk on point. But if you take it all off the table, eventually that one loss that does hit your stop, it's going to either take you back to break even or put you in the negative. If you continue to completely close the trade, too soon. So it's a great question, because I know there's a lot of people going through that. So really, 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 really good question. But that's my advice to you. So for like a trade here, like this bounce. So say you played this at a counter trend trade move, right? We'll look at this 2 ways, and it got to your 382, and say I was in there at $2 a pip. Okay, when I get to that first target, okay, close out half the trade, move your stop to break even, right? Move your stop to break even, or move it into profit, and then see if the rest can carry to that 61.8, which in this case it did. But that second half of the trade that you left running was risk-free. Okay. Same thing with this C to D move here. Okay. A, B, C came down in my zone. So what you could do is you say, you know what? I'm in this move. Say I took this trade at the 61.8. Okay. Took it at the 61.8. I took an order. Okay. So I take the trade at the 61.8. And you can say, okay, on this one, I wanted to play my stop below the A, like so. A boundary right below support, put my stop. So we're looking at, off that 61.8 move, we're looking at a stop of about, call it 42 pips or so. Look at that TP, 119. That's beautiful, right? Call it 120. Let's call it 40 and 120. All right. So you do the math on that, that's a 3-to-1. So this trade takes off, but what you may do is you may say, you know what? And you think this out before you take the trade, right? So then that way you know how to divide your trade up. You may say, I'm going to take a third of this trade at the B boundary. I'm going to take another third of this trade at the 118, 127 zone, and then I'll let the last third run to the D extension. Follow me? Right? So that way you're securing your bag all the way up through this move. We clear on that? Drop me a 2. Right? And then you start adjusting your stop. Right? So we know what the plan is. We know a trade idea is just that, an idea. Right? Especially in this market. So, it can change on you, right, quickly. So that's how you can play these moves. Right? You may not be, you may be a type of trader that say, I only want to take trades back to this deep boundary, I'm out. However you want to do it, just make sure you have a way to secure the bag along the way, right? Because these are huge moves. We're not looking at 5 and 10 pip moves. These are monster moves that run for a while. But that's how you can secure your bag if that's how you want to trade it, right? Okay. So that's where we are on the Aussie Swiss. So the idea is that, hey, this move has been bearish. Okay. So we've been bearish. A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, right? Get that D there, boom. And then it just continued to push the momentum. But now we're making a U-turn. So we're in a down retracement zone. And now it's just a matter of how far the market wants it to retrace before it continues, right, its move and its downward momentum, if that's what it wants to do. But we've identified that I'm in a down retracement zone, and then we have our sweet spots that we like to trade. So the 118, 127 zone. So sometimes you can run these, if you run a trend line and you don't limit in right here and you say, you know what, I want confirmation, I want a trend line break, then you wouldn't have got a trend line break here. It would have just pushed down below, further down below your trend line. And then eventually it popped and it moved to the upside. Right. So it requires a little patience. Now, if you limit in there, or you say, I'm just going to take a trade at the 127, that's fine. If everything's cool, if you have your risk management in place, that if you know, if I get stopped out, I'm losing a quarter, half, 1%. And if you're cool with that and you can sleep good at night with that, then that's fine. If you lose, you lose. Why? Because it stops you out. Your risk management is under control. You control what you lost. And now you can say, oh, that didn't work. This is pretty impulsive. Let me draw a trend line and give me some extra confirmation, because I still got a good feeling this is going to reverse. And when it does, I want to make sure that I take advantage of it. Right? So maybe you lost 50 pips or so, you know, on that move, but you can get it back and then some if price wants to continue and move to that 382. Right? So that's the thought process with all of these setups. Okay. And all you can do is set yourself up in a position, right? The best possible position, because we don't know. Like, we don't know if I knew that if I knew that price was going to definitely reverse off a B boundary, or no, it's not going to sit at the B boundary this time, it's going to push down, then reverse, we'd all be billionaires quick. If I can predict that, or if you can predict that. You see here, look, that's a U-turn. That's a U-turn. Not so much this time. Right? Not so much this time. We didn't get it. But if somebody knows how to predict that, woo, let me know. Let me know. We just know they're high probability U-turn areas. Okay. All right. All right. So that's that on the Aussie Swift. Any other questions? We are trying to wait, right? You're either trading this to the upside. We would like to see this continue to correct. And then when it gets in our sell zone, we'll take a look at the fundamentals and the technicals at that point to see if, hey, are we still thinking bearish on the Aussie Swiss when it arrives in our zone, and then we can possibly get short. All right. Any questions? No. No. Okay. All right. We're good to go. We had the Aussie CAD. Let me scroll back a little bit, see if I got anything else that came in. Aussie CAD. Okay. Let's take a look at it. Oh, we covered that already. My bad, y'all. So we got those three. I've seen it again. All right, so that's that. Any other pairs? Because if not, I'm gonna start tearing through what I want to take a look at. We're good?
I'm good.
All right, appreciate it. All right, so let's go and let's take a look at the CAD Swiss. Okay, so we'll stay with the Swiss. All right, let's back it up and bring it forward. Look, similar situation. See that? See it coming into that level? beautiful double top back down to support. And now you can see price reversing. Okay. It's amazing how the similar price action goes with the pairs. Now, here it is. We are headed. See, this is what we want to see with that other pair we just covered. We want to see it move, okay, to that 382. See how it's making that U-turn? Broke through those levels. Okay. We want to see it get back to that 382. But you see how it just broke this 4-hour zone and now it's trying to test it. So if you come down to your one where you're zooming in on the price action, look at what it's doing, everybody, right? It's giving us those waves. Okay. Look at that. A, B, shallow retracement. We broke it. We pushed up a bit. Okay. So now it's just a matter of, here's that target, that 382 target, right at that 118, 127 zone. Am I going to get price to correct to the downside before continuing to move up? Okay. Then I start to think like, well, where this target is, will I get a deep correction? Because if I get a deep correction, even back down to this support, that puts me right around that 786 zone. So then does my D extension, if I get back long, come right in line with that? Because that's your 127 if you get a deep correction. So these are the things that I think about in my head when I'm looking at these setups. All right. So now with this turning over like this, okay, sometimes you can go down to your lower time frame and say, do I want to attempt to make a play on this? See how that's hovering around that 4-hour retesting that zone? Is this going to start to break through these levels and pull back and correct? Because if so, maybe I want to take that. You know, maybe I want to take a shot at that. At least back down to the 382. So if I come on this 1-hour fib now, see how you find setups within setups, okay, on the swings. So now I could come here and I can say, well, there's that 382 on that 1-hour fib. Okay. If price wants to move down and catch that, right, 40-something pips or so, if I want to play that smaller move, maybe I can get it. Right. So here it's coming right back to retest that level in that zone. So maybe I come up with an idea that, you know what, I want to draw my trend lines on this on the 15. Like this. And that was my highest point there. I'll play it just like that. See? And now making this move down. Okay. So now maybe I sit here and I wait and I say, okay, this is a level in between. This has been a crazy, this is a little weird type of price action here, but it formed a low. This, and we'll do it like that, right there. So it's like maybe, see how this is pushing down? Like that. It's a beautiful scalp moves, right? Place your stop below, above the high. But now I'm like, okay, well, it's moved down pretty good. If I get a break of this level, then what I can do is I could wait to see if price is going to pull back for me. Okay. Because if I miss this, right, it's moving down. It always likes to come back. So I can just like that. And then I can look to see if I can get that continuation short. That's an idea, right? That's an idea on how you can play that leg, right? Just hypothetically, right? Let it settle, let it pull back, and see if I can get a trend line breaking for it to turn over. So maybe I put a trend line break in there like this. Okay. Decides to do that. And then I get back short, right? I don't want to jump it now. All right, it's moved. Maybe I get a pullback and then I can look for the continuation down. If not, I'm just gonna wait for it to push down and then see if I can get the continuation up to see if I can get in on this trade if I'm not already in, right? I know some folks took this right off the lows because of the setup was there. Okay, but those multiple ways to skin a cat. Trades within trades. All right, so we know what our major target is. Just a matter of now, how do I want to play that? Any questions on that CAD Swiss? Good. All right. All right. Everybody follow that? Anybody confused? Need me to break it down more? So I want everybody to learn this because in the next week or so, we're going to move into some other things. But I want to make sure that we're kind of getting this down. All right. Okay. Next, we want to talk about, right, since we're in the Swiss family, let's go and take a look at the Euro Swiss. See what it's doing. Okay. Major move. I think that's the move of the year. Of last year. We started this, let me see. Casey, when did we start the inner circle? It was last June, right?
June 6th last year.
June 6th last year, right? And it wasn't too long after that, right? Going into when we started to develop the whole inner circle that Casey Ryan and I spotted the crown on this Euro Swissy. And it's been moving down for quite some time, right? Early, look at that. Right? We came in here and we said, man, that's a right tip. So all the way from that, when we were running groups and doing a lot of stuff in the groups for no charge at all, right? Just trying to help people out. And it's been running. Look at that. All the way through. That right tip was way back. Look at that, February. Okay. And on through. And it's just down. It's just down. Crazy, right? Crazy stuff. So this is where we are. If we zoom out and we could just see the waves, and we see that it's closing in on this daily D extension. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Look at that price action. Here's your weekly level here to complete that crown. Okay. So the direction has been down. Okay. So if we come down to the 4, look at what we have, everybody. We've got a new AB boundary. So do we get a new correction? And then continue short. Okay. Or does the downward pressure momentum take us to that daily D extension, which that's okay too. Okay. Because we know if we hit that daily D extension and we create new support there, then we definitely know, right, that the reaction is coming. We got exhaustion. It's gonna start to settle down, and then, right, then we may see that correction. Okay. Either way, we're in a pretty good position to track this move. Okay, so let's continue to watch that. And there's that weekly extension there. See, it's all coming together. So just continue to be patient. So on a 1 hour, just waiting. See, Look at that 1 hour fib. A shallow move. Just waiting. Do we get it? Do we get the break of the trend line? Did we get the break above 99.70? And then we start to correct. You can take advantage of that opportunity. All right. So want to put on your radar. Want to put on your radar. We've been watching this trade since forever. Since forever. That crown was before. Before we got the group going. That's when we were just running the Facebook group. Right? It's amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Any questions? Yep, good. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the CAD. I want to take a quick look in at the Euro USD, just to continue to track that. And we are closing in, everybody. All right. We're closing in on parity. €1 equaling $1. Okay. €1 for $1 right there. Okay. So it's just a matter. I don't know if we go back to 103.40 in that zone. It's been moving pretty fast in that downward direction. But if we do, right, if we do get a retest back to that level, if we do get a retest back to this level, then take advantage of it. Look to add to the position that you're already in potentially if you get a reaction back to the downside, or right, maybe take the shot on getting short. But I wouldn't do it unless it made its way back to that zone. Okay, so that's on the 4. Watch this one for tomorrow too. You know, we've got non-farm, so really watch this one tomorrow. Here's that level here that would actually take out that 1 hour fib, but that's okay. We know where the zone is. But let's watch this one tomorrow to see what type of reaction it will get. If it's strong for the dollar, then it's just gonna finish out. we're gonna get to that level. So that's it on the Euro USD. Any questions?
Nope.
Good. All right. Ryan, good evening, sir. You might just be listening in. Okay. All right. So let's go over. Covered that one. Oh, can't get off here without looking at this one, everybody. Let's look at this. Go back and see what happened with the price action today on this USD CAD. Okay. Look how we pushed down out of that zone. Isn't that something? Okay. We drew it up saying, hey, it can go either way. Look what it did. That was pretty convincing. Okay. Not really ready to quite make the move yet because of non-farm tomorrow. We've got major news on both of these currencies tomorrow. So this is going to be an interesting one. So what I will say is tomorrow, really keep an eye on this. It's so funny. Last NFP was kind of, the numbers were mixed when you look at all 3 reports. So we always like to wait until the dust settles to see which direction that market wants to push. It could take a little bit of time, but this is one that you want to have on your radar because look how it fell, right? That dollar correcting. Oil, I think, made a rebound. And you can see, look how it came out of that zone. So that zone, as of right now, is holding pretty good. Okay, so it's just a matter of, do we get a retest of this bearish candle? Okay, to retest at this 130.15, because they broke below it. This is going to be a pullback and a continuation down. If it is, I would love to get on top of it. Right, love to get on top of it and be there. Right, be there for that opportunity. This is what it looks like on your 4. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, if we get that pull back to this level, to this zone, and see if it holds tomorrow. See what happens overnight. See if it continues to push up overnight ahead of non-farm. It's hard to tell. Hard to tell. So we'll just see what happens. Any questions on that dollar CAD? No? Good. Okay. Let's take a look at the dollar Swiss. Another Swiss pair that we've been taking a look at, just riding it long. Okay. Just riding it long. So here we are. Now, how many Swiss crosses have we seen with this? Just about every one of them, right? That move. The market is so pattern driven. So pattern driven. Okay, look at that. That's an explosive move off that support. Double top, the press down up against support, daily support. And it's been rocking and rolling ever since. But this is where we are now. So similar scenario. I definitely will look at that pound Swissy for sure. So this is where we are. Here's that 382 target. On your 4-hour, you're looking at an 80-20 off this sub-fib moving to the upside. Okay. So now it's just a matter of, do we get that correction? Keep in mind, we're ahead of NFP tomorrow. Okay. This is the smaller wave, kind of similar, right, in that corrective state. So let's see what happens on that. Let's see what happens on that. I'm a little sketchy doing anything with the dollar ahead of non-farm, but it's in a position to where it could correct to the downside. And then you just make the decision, do you want to play that? If you get an opportunity, okay, things could move fast tomorrow, or you just wait and see, hey, will this give me a low price and hold, right? Never can tell how impulsive things might get around a major fundamental report. And if it holds, do I want to continue to take the ride up to that target? But so far off that trend line break, it's been a beautiful move. So that's the dollar Swiss. So continue to keep that one on your radar ahead of the reports tomorrow. And then we'll take a look at this pound Swiss. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Okay, we got 32 correction on that one. I don't know if that's going to test and come back down, but it all looks similar. Right? It all looks similar. Here's your 4. Look at that. So ideally, what we want to see is just, right, we've broken through some levels. Look at that score. We're scoring points. We're scoring points there. You all see that? And now we want to pull back. So if you missed the impulsive move, look at that, right off that 118, 127 zone. Look at how that held firm. So technically, right, it's 227 pips away from where we are now. Could be more depending on the pullback. So if I'm thinking that this is my idea and I want to try to get long on this, wait to see if you can get a correction. Wait to see if you can get a correction back to the downside. Right. Is that a potential play? Yep, it is. Right. Maybe you want more confirmation. You got this 382. It wicked out at this 382. So technically that's not shallow, but you still may get it. And if you're not in on it already, that's 90 pips back to the 382. But if you're not in it already, then you need this to come back to you a bit. You need that to come back to you a little bit. Right. And then look to try to get long on that. All right. So that's where we are on that. Okay, that's the pound Swiss. It's amazing how they all move similarly. Okay, any questions on that? You're welcome. So you're gonna see if you do your prep work and you prepare yourself, you'll start to see these patterns, and this is how, right, you can develop that skill set to trade smaller, okay, but you have the ability to consistently accumulate a lot of pips, right? So yes, I'm trading smaller, but I know how to catch pips. I don't have to be, and then I'm developing that discipline, right? And that psychology that I need to stay in the trades, know how to manage the trade, because now I've got that direction right, and I have to know how to take money off the table and manage my stops. But once you get that down, you have the ability to catch pips. So I don't have to worry about 5 pips, 10 pips, and risking my account and taking that big trade. I know how to just steadily make money, steadily make money. And then as your account grows, whether it be it growing from your trading ability, or every couple of weeks I'm adding money to my account, I'm paying myself, and now I can trade. I've gone from 30 cents and now I can trade at 40 cents and 50 cents to 60 cents, right? It all starts to grow. So think about that. The same skill set, the same discipline, the same technique, but man, look how the results compound once I get it down and I take the same consistent approach, right? So that 50 pip move that I know how to catch at 10 cents is only $5. But if I get consistent at it and I'm steady growing my account, and now that me mastering how to catch that same 50 pips is now at $1. So now that's $50. And now it's at a standard eventually. And that same 50 pips, that same consistent approach is now worth $500. And then it just goes on and on and on and on. But it takes time to get there. Give yourself 3 to 5 years. Give yourself 3 to 5 years. Okay. So it's worth it. It's worth it. Trust me. So that is the pound Swiss. There was one more I wanted to take a look at. I thought I had it written down. But while I try to remember it, everybody, let's take a look at the gold, because it's coming in at a key level ahead of tomorrow, NFP. So, man, my computer is running slow today. So look at that on gold. Different asset class, same result, right? I don't want that one. A, B, C, D. Some amazing stuff, right? So we're looking to, right, potentially come in as support here and hit this extension at this level. Okay, that'll be the end of the ABCD wave. We'll see how price reacts at that point. Okay, see if we get some movement on that on gold with NFP. A lot of times you will. A lot of times you will. We'll see which way it decides to react depending on the numbers. Okay, so I know we've got some gold traders, but that's been a move. See, look at that. Just continue to move down through all of the mess, all of the noise. It's still kept along its path. And I find that to be amazing. All right. And oh, I know what it was, everybody. This pound New Zealand. I don't know how long that pound news is gonna continue to make a positive push with the currency. But it's got this moving up. to the upside. Now that's that 127 extension. We had just taken it off and we said, hey, things are moving sideways, and it did. It broke below this level here at 193.89 and it held up at this support. So where that extension is coming from is how we had the fib drawn. I believe if I go back, yeah, where it's just been moving sideways within this AB boundary. And so you can see, look at that retracement level, took back 78%. And now look at it. So we took everything off. We kept that target in line though. And we said, let's look at this since it's moving sideways, see which way it wants to break. It broke down, but now it's holding and it's broken back above this 193.89 level. Yeah. So if that stays bullish, we look for that to go to that extension. We look for that to go to that extension. All right. So maybe this is the action that it wants to take now to continue to move, or maybe it's just going to stick at the top of the range. But just wanted to put everybody on notice with that is moving back to the upside now. So that is all I have for this evening ahead of non-farm payroll. What questions do we have before we wrap things up? You're welcome. No questions? All right. If you don't have any questions now, okay. If you have them, post them in the Facebook group, right? Sometimes it takes us a minute to get back. We're super busy, but we will get back to you. I saw some people posting there today on some things that were pretty awesome. Some good questions. Or, right, forextraderoom@gmail.com. You can email us, but we do our best to get on top of things and answer the questions for you. Another option that you can do is these video recordings are always archived inside of the platform. So if you have a question regarding tonight's session, you can go and post it there as well in the comment section. So our goal is to help everybody to become consistently profitable. So what Ryan always says is, hey, give yourself some grace, give yourself some time to figure this thing out. So if we don't have any other questions, great session for tonight, everybody. Thanks for hanging in there. And hey, make sure if you have time tomorrow, put your eyes on the charts, look at the non-farm payroll numbers. We've got Canadian employment numbers as well. And let's see, even if you're not trading, see what the price action does, right? Train your eyes to it. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. We'll be right back here Saturday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Forex Weekly Ritual. Take care, everybody.